This is sliding.
What's up, everybody? Activ8.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Activ8 Radio. And we are here to activate your mind while we entertain and educate. And before you do anything, you give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and only a positive comment. And this episode and every episode is brought to you by Reebok.
Hashtag be more human, guys. Come on now.
There it is, Johnny. And I'm actually, once again, not at home. I'm traveling. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Ohio.
Don't
enjoying
ask.
some fishing and camping, and I found a lodge that has 3 bars on my cell phone. So we're coming to you live from Burr Oak in the middle of Ohio.
Dude, I didn't even know that name, guys. We're coming live from Burr Oak, Ohio. I guarantee you 99.99999% of you guys will never be there. We'll never
Oh,
visit
you know
Burr
what,
Oak.
though,
But
John?
you should.
Before we get to a really serious topic, there is an extremely famous boxing gym named Sam's Gym that's like 4 miles from here. It's in Gloucester, Ohio.
Oh.
This dude has trained a bunch of studs, and we've had people from Columbus come down to spar at this place.
Who's he trained OG-wise?
You know what? I have to look it up. I mean, the place is super epic. I've never been there, but I did some research when I was looking for gyms, and his is the one that came up. And so I know there was guys on there I trained there 35 years ago. It's been around forever. So anyway, thought that was interesting. So look, we've had some kind of crazy stuff going on in the country. John, I'll let you kind of start it off. I know we believe we need to address just this kind of umbrella topic in general. So.
Yeah. So I woke up and I turned on the news and I saw that there was the largest mass shooting in United States history. One individual shot and killed 50 people dead, and there was another 53 shot and critically injured, and by the sounds of it, it sounds like a good amount of those individuals, we pray for them, but a good amount of those individuals may not make it. We don't know. And it for some reason, not that it didn't before, but it really enraged me because one thing became clear to me.
Mm-hmm.
What became clear to me is that as an American now, the terminology or the term mass shooting is part of our lexicon. It's part of our dictionary.
Yeah.
And to me, that's so far beyond acceptable that and I'm not saying everyone should look at it like this, but I personally can't live without trying to figure out how to change that. Do I think I can change it? No, I don't think I can change it personally. Do I think I can contribute to it? Yeah, I do. I can't accept it. I can't accept it because you have kids in school. We go to shopping malls. This was in a nightclub. The new norm is that you're not safe anywhere. And a wise man once told me that you're better off living happy in a hut than living in a mansion looking over your shoulder. And I think there's some irony in what's going on, and I'd like to speak to it a little bit. And that's when France was attacked, 166 people dead, I believe, a couple months ago. They understood very clearly that the message of the shooters and the message of the murderers and these savages was to take away their democratic way of life where they can eat outdoors and cafes and go to movies and enjoy rock shows. And the way they responded was, well, we understand and we mourn our loss, but we're not going to give these murdering savages what they want. So we're going to double down on our democracy. So you're going to see more of us out. You're going to see more of us in theaters. You're going to see more of us at rock shows. And we're going to enjoy life even more for the memory of those that perished. And I guess in closing, before I hand it off to you, Cory, it's like these things are going to keep happening. Okay.
Yeah.
How we react and how we handle the situations are going to increase or decrease their level of occurrence. And all I can say is, I'm not saying the French are right and we're wrong, but when you act out of fear, when you live in fear and you behave in a way where I'm afraid, so I'm not going to do this, that's no way to live. A lot of smart scholars, philosophers have said, just take my life. That's no way to live. And I happen to agree with that. So for everybody out there who feels like they can't do this or they can't do that, you're letting these people win. Okay? You're letting them win. And that is not the American spirit. That's not how this country was founded. That's not that's not our way of life. And I know I've said a lot, so I'm going to hand it off to you, Cor, but I'm just really passionate about these atrocities that go on too often.
I'll tell you what, I think this one obviously is unbelievably bad. The Sandy Hook one hit super close because I have children, and I think that it's just hard to believe. And we talked earlier off air about our parents maybe had like the Kent State type of thing and a few things, obviously when there was a lot of race struggle in this country, there was a lot of like crazy stuff going on, but just people like going to the shopping mall. Like, I mean, Rachel even said it to me. She's like, I think about it every time I go out. It doesn't stop her from going, but I mean, she thinks about it every time. So like, I think like to your point, John, it's like the fact that we even have to think about that. Like, I'll be honest, I don't you know me, I don't really watch a lot of movies anyway, and I just rather watch them on Netflix now. But like, ever since that one movie theater incident, I don't think I've been to the movie theater since. I don't think that I probably went more than 2 times a year anyway, maybe once a year actually. But it was definitely something that inside of me molded kind of the way that I thought about it, because I think, well, should I go to the movie theater and pay the $9, or should I wait till it comes out on Netflix and, not even run that risk? And I don't know if I inherently like really, contemplate, but I definitely think it molded me. How could it not? And these type of things, and also like I'm not a big gun person, but it makes me think twice about having concealed and carry or making sure you have arms in your house, whatever it is. Like those are all things that make you want to protect a little bit more. It just sucks that we even got to deal with it, man. It just sucks.
It does suck, and I like how you brought up kind of what we were talking about when our parents were in their teens, 20s, and mass shootings didn't happen, and guns existed. So you have to ask yourself, in the history of our country, this term mass shooting really kind of came to the American consciousness when Sandy Hook. I'm sorry, not Sandy Hook, Columbine. Columbine took place, okay?
And that was when we were in high school, right, John? Roughly?
I want to say Columbine was either late 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah.
You look at who perpetrated the crime, just like we look at this individual who perpetrated it, the other day. And I think you really need to look at not the Band-Aid, but the broader problem. And we've talked on this show at length about community and how back in the day being an American, it was almost like, hey, you walked down the street, you saw another American, what's up, man? Like, there was some pride.
Yeah.
We're so segmented now that I want to give you guys I want to run you guys through just an example scenario. So let's say you're a minority, whatever color that may be, child, and you grow up in an area where there's not that many minorities, and because of that, kids are rude, kids are mean at an early age before they mature. You get picked on, and because you get picked on, you have a chip on your shoulder. And because you have a chip on your shoulder, you go into high school and you carry that chip. and you run with questionable crowds, because questionable crowds are the only place, frankly, where you fit in, right?
Yeah.
So you're in a questionable crowd, and you look at mainstream America, which most people view as those people who picked on you, and your anger is oozing out of you. But typically, you're not the jock, so you're not going to go beat up anybody, right?
Yeah.
You're not a white male, so you're not gonna game the system on them. I think there's a certain level of feeling completely powerless, and when you get a gun, I don't care if you're 3'1", I don't care if you're a woman, man, midget, whatever, you got power because you can take anyone's life. And
True.
Until we realize that the real issue is how we treat each other, when, I think, Cory, you had a good quote the other day. You're talking about how you treat someone when no one's around. No one needs to pass a criteria to be treated with respect and dignity. Everybody's entitled to that. So what I challenge our listeners to and us to is like, man, when you identify those kids that may not be as big and alpha and get picked on, or in the workplace, the guy who's kind of weird, who everyone kind of makes fun of, like those are the people who feel like they will never have a wife. They feel like they will never have children. They feel like they will never be able to do the things that you do in life. And when you feel that, I only can assume the level of despair. And when you get to that level, you may become dangerous. So I think it's on all of us to, man, pay attention to people and just, it's like we say it so much here, but just, dude, it's like, start fucking caring just a little more about those people that you don't have an obligation to care for. You have no obligation to care for them. But I'll tell you what, as we've become more separated as a society, these things have happened. And I believe that's why.
That clique mentality going up, barraging the kids. It's like the bullying thing, kind of, really. A lot of these guys come out of that. This is a little off topic, but not. There was an Adam Sandler movie. I can't remember. Maybe it's Tommy Boy, or one of those ones where he went back and he apologized to all the people, and it was like he called this one dude, and he fit like that type of character, and his name was on the list, and he went over and crossed it off I'm not going to kill that guy now. But that's seriously how I think, because you get to think some of these people get so backed into a corner that I really believe that they think that's the only way out. And that's what happened in Columbine, basically.
Well, think if your life consists of no female interaction, you really can't get a job because you're antisocial. What do you have to look forward to? Not much. What do you have to lose? Not much either. So a lot of these guys, they want to live in infamy. And they say, dude, honestly, I'm not even living a life, right? So I'm going to make my mark. They're going to know my name when I'm done with them. Everyone's going to know my name. The governor, the president made a statement on this mass shooting. The president's going to know my name. Now, when you evaluate that with being a guy who goes to work every day and people look at weird and look at sideways, I don't know. I ain't saying it's the right thing. It's the damn wrong thing. Every time you take innocent life or affect life negatively, that's always the wrong answer. But I'm just trying to get inside the head of this disturbing trend. And I saw something online, and we all know online, you can never claim a fact is true. But I heard if you take the number of mass shootings, and mass shootings in the United States is defined as 3 or more dead, there is one or more mass shooting in the United States every day.
Oh, wow. So that could be from a drug bust going bad to whatever, if you're at that number, but still, that's a daily occurrence.
Every day.
I just, you know what, here's the thing. It's just sad to me to think that a person or a group of people feel that alienated.
Yes.
I just feel bad. And then the fact that then the pain that all these people go through trying to pick their lives back up when somebody affects them to this level, but the problem is that we see it on the news, and then most of these people, I mean, you forget about it a week later. But those people's lives are they're changed for eternity.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. You feel bad, but what else are you supposed to do? You have to go on.
So that's the eternal question, right? What else are you supposed to do? And I ask myself that all the time. And I think at this point, relying on any political procedure to change things, I'm not going to do it, because I've learned that they're both sides, they're full of it, right? So I was talking to my mom about it earlier today, and I thought about something. I said, these guys, these girls, it's mostly guys, who commit these atrocities, I believe they're one good guy, one mentor, one person who actually gives a shit and pays attention to them away from not doing it.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
And
could be the person you just asked how their day was going. I think that all the time,
dude. Absolutely, and life's about challenging yourself, and I think we challenge people, we challenge our listeners, we challenge ourselves constantly here. It's like, man, you guys are smart. I got to get better at this. And we all got to identify those people that are outliers.
Yeah.
And just give them 5 minutes a day. Like if you work with them, if you go to school, give them 5 minutes a day and let them know, hey man, if you run into any issues, because those people live scared if they're in high school, or, they're not comfortable because they think people are always making fun of them, which they probably are. Be their guy. Be their fucking guy. Stand by them, because we can't change policy in Washington, right?
No.
But what we can do is we can affect those people on a daily basis. And I guarantee you, if somebody spent the time with that guy the day before he killed 50 people and was like, hey man, do you want to go to lunch? Let's just, you seem pretty unhappy, and hey, let's exchange thoughts. Let's talk about it. I guarantee you, I'm not saying he wouldn't have done it. What I'm saying is, there's a chance he would have thought twice about it.
Yeah, because I don't know if I buy in that this guy was some super planted ISIS guy. I think that that's my own point. I don't know if that's true or not. He was a security
guard, I believe, that protected at one time a government building. So he was born in New York. Okay, just because he has Afghani blood, I have Italian blood, but I'm I'm not part of the Cosa Nostra, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't rep Mussolini.
Yeah, I'm not Don Fosco. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's I'm going through Twitter. I'm actually getting ready for the podcast, and obviously I was looking at some other things to talk about, and we shifted to this because we definitely need to talk about this. And I saw that, and I'm just shaking my head and then there's still 50 more people that are still injured, and it's just man, it's just, you just put your hands in your head and you're it makes you, the first thought for me is, like you said, in a hut, family huddled, you don't want them out, but you can't live that way.
You cannot live that way.
You can't live that way.
That's not living life.
No, that's what you want to protect, though, especially your cubs, right? You want to protect your cubs. That's part of it, but you can't do that.
You can't do that, and if you do nothing, I mean, that's where, it's funny, my mom said something similar to you, was man, I just want to get away from this stuff. When I see it, I want to get away from it. And I said, Mom, I understand that, man. It ain't pretty, but I think if we all just get away from it, there's no chance that it's going to happen less, and I know that it's happening more. Yeah. So we as people, if you look at any great movement of this country, it's always started with brave people.
Yeah.
Always. It doesn't start with the power structure. The power structure, dude, I'm not even going to get into that. It starts at the bottom, okay? It starts people getting together and saying, hey, I'm going to, one by one. It's like getting a customer in business. I'm going to get one, and then I'm going to get two, and then they're going to refer their friends, and then people are just going to start kind of seeing a change. And here's the thing, Corey, right? If policy doesn't change regarding certain things in Washington, which it won't, okay? Which it won't. There's too much money involved.
Of course.
And if people don't start taking a different approach, the numbers of mass shootings are going to keep going up. And you talk about, they're your cubs, your children. Well, that puts your kids in more danger.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, whether it's my family or not, I don't want anybody in danger.
No, of course not.
You know?
It's tricky. Speaking of the machine itself, my boy Arnold came under some major heat for taking a picture with Bill Clinton. Did you see that? Arnold issued a statement about it because they were catching so much heat, and that goes to show, why can't they be friends? Are you kidding me? Are we at that point, John, politically, where Arnold, who's a big time Republican, he can't be homeboys with Bill Clinton?
How about this? After
and it was at Muhammad Ali's funeral, for God's sakes.
Yes. Okay, so that's a great point. So that shows you the division of this country and its political parties. After, what was that hurricane, the one that took the Jersey Shore and wiped it out 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah,
whatever, you know the hurricane I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Completely wiped out the Jersey Shore. Completely wiped it out. Thousands of people were homeless. Well, Chris Christie at that time was the governor of New Jersey. Obama was obviously the president. Obama flew down there, and when he got off his plane, they shook hands and they hugged, right? It's a governor working with the president to try to help people.
In a time of need.
What's up?
In a time of need.
For the people. And
yes,
that probably, Chris Christie at that point was looked at as maybe the top Republican candidate for this race. It completely destroyed his standing in the Republican Party that he hugged the president when his state was destroyed by a hurricane. How twisted are we?
That's what I was just saying. What the fuck is wrong with us? I mean, seriously.
I mean, how twisted are we? And it's almost like, I sent you a link. Did you see the YouTube link I sent you?
I did, but I was all chopped up.
Yeah,
it wouldn't load. Yeah.
So the link was basically about Prophets of Rage. Prophets of Rage is Be Real from Cypress Hill, Chuck D from Public Enemy, and Rage Against the Machine minus Zach. And Tom Morello, who's the lead singer, Harvard graduate, Chicago guy, spoke to Bloomberg News about why he formed the band. And
is that a new band?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Dude, how nasty is that? Be Real, Chuck D, and Rage?
Whoa. Well, but those guys are all extremely opinionated people on all kinds of issues. So that makes sense, actually, if you think about it.
So get
real
this,
sense.
Bro.
Wow.
In the interview, Tom Morello from Rage or Prophets of Rage, whatever, he says very clearly, he says, we're at a time when if you sit on the sidelines, he said Martin Luther King had a very, very famous quote that I live my life by. And it was, and I'm paraphrasing here because it's not exactly, those who stand on the sidelines in a time of severe need have a fiery place in hell waiting for them. And he goes, we formed this band because our political system, it is completely broken and it's breaking down our country, completely breaking down our country. So what's so badass about him is he's like, we ain't going to tell you when and where, but everybody get ready for a shit ton of free shows in Cleveland outdoors, blocking doors into the Republican National Convention in July. They're just going to rock out for free at the Republican National Convention, dude.
Well, dude, you know that there's that really cool amphitheater right on the water, right by the convention center in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, but
like it's by
they're there
like
to
the
cause
flats.
ruckus. They're there to get in front of shit and be arrested.
So they're just gonna like pop up.
They're
in the
going to
middle of the street
protest
and
through music, peacefully protest.
Oh.
I mean, these dudes put their money where their mouth is. You know, their first show they played in LA as a warm up, they charged $20. All those guys together, $20, and all the money went to like a homeless charity. Like these dudes, like
so
are
cool.
about it. They're about
Dude,
it, dude.
But that's because they've all had so much money for so long, dude. It doesn't even, they don't even care about that.
Yeah, but I will say this, like Rage, even when they didn't have money, like look at their first album. Like,
well, yeah, it was always about real stuff.
It never really was about, it never was about, I mean, money. It was never about money. It was, you know, I'm gonna create a comparison. The movie that won the Oscar this year was called Spotlight. And there's this part in the movie Spotlight where is a very pivotal part in the movie where the editor said, we're not going to go after the crooked people. We have to go after the system. If you want to make a change, you have to attack the system, not the people. Well, when Tom Morello was giving his interview about basically why they formed and why they're going to the Republican National Committee is because he said people need to understand we can't go after Donald Trump or we can't go after this politics. We have to go after the system. Because the system, the fact that somebody who's got $1 billion can write a check to one man and fucking give our president marching orders, that system is broken. That's the problem. Donald Trump isn't the problem. He's a symptom, right? In Tom's words, right? The system is the problem.
He's like strep throat.
Yeah, and Tom is Harvard, dude's Harvard educated, bro. He's like a whiz. He's epic, dude. So I recommend any of our listeners, if you want some just raw, borderline radical knowledge dropped, just YouTube Tom Morello. He is a bad dude, man, mentally.
So hold on, Chuck D from Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Oh yeah.
Cypress Hill. In most 3/4 of Rage Against the Machine.
Yep.
Dude. Wow.
Prophets of Rage, they got the fist up in the air with the star. And apparently at their shows, they play a lot of Rage stuff. They play a lot of Public Enemy stuff. They play a lot of Cypress stuff, but they mix in the heavier riffs and shit.
What?
Yeah.
Dude. I'm like, because I'm in the middle of nowhere, so I'm like, what does John send me this link? And you didn't write anything around it.
Right.
And so it's like trying to load, and I saw Prophets of Rage, and I was like, what the hell is this about? I was totally clueless.
Yeah.
Now I'm excited to go watch it.
Yeah, maybe I can replace my tablecloth.
I know, right? So the Republican National Convention is when? I'm sure you know.
I think it's
is it soon, right?
Of July.
Yeah, soon. So we're gonna see what these guys got in store for us
and
the
it's
next
in
month.
Cleveland, bro.
I know.
Maybe we should go.
I mean,
dude,
I could call Donald.
Dude,
he probably watches the show.
Donald is put it this way. What I've learned about Donald is if you say nice things about him, like no matter how big or small you are, he likes you. And Donald said in a speech yesterday, he said the people who this is hilarious, dude, who he wants to speak at the Republican National Committee are people who are champions in his work, right? And he said, guess who one of the people he said he wants to speak?
It's probably Arnold, I'm sure.
Dana White.
No.
Yeah. So the Taj Mahal, which obviously was owned by Donald Trump, they were one of the first venues that main venues that had the UFC hosted there, maybe UFC 40 something. And not only did Donald Trump allow it, right, when John McCain was calling it human cockfighting, but he attended it And I remember being at, I want to say it was maybe UFC 98 when BJ Penn knocked out Sean Shirk with that epic flying knee and he licked the blood off his gloves. I remember seeing Donald Trump's hair, cage side. And he's like, I want Dana White to speak at the Republican National Convention. Now here's a twist. Dana White's favorite band, bar none. I mean, you've seen
is Rage
Against the Machine.
Of course it is, because he's like our age and he was a weightlifter.
Yeah, he's a little older. He's in the early 40s, I think. But
wow.
Yeah, so that could create an interesting clash because I don't want to go off on politics, but I'll tell you how awesome Tom Morello is. He was on Bill Maher on Friday night, and he was talking about all this stuff. And they said, the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, who's a Republican, he works out to Rage Against the Machine. He goes, well, yeah, I heard that, and I said two things. First off, if I ever see that, I'm going to rip the fucking headphones out of his ear. And the second thing is I'm going to slap him because he's obviously never listened to a word of our fucking music. Yeah! Yeah!
He said I'm going to slap him.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to rip the headphones out of his ear, bro.
But, I mean, arguably, obviously, a guy like that they might have more power from pushing the pencil, but, like, the artists have way more power over the people than the Speaker of the House does, don't you think? To actually move. Yeah, obviously.
Dude,
right?
if you organize, like what they're doing is brilliant, right? So they believe, just like Bernie Sanders believes, the history of our country proves that when the small people organize, they become big. So what better way to incite, not a riot, but this is all peaceful stuff, organization, than hooking up, two of the best rap acts and one of the most insane rock bands and saying, we're going to put on free shows for you guys. All you got to do is show up. Like, that's how you organize. Like,
so good.
Dude, I mean, probably 100,000 people will show up.
Wherever they decide to stand at.
And they said they're going to play, like, if they get arrested, they'll get bailed out, and then they'll go just play another show. Like, they're not going to stop.
So they could potentially play shows all week long.
Yes, well, that's their plan. And they're not going to tell anybody. Their words were this. We're not going to tell anybody where we're playing. You are going to hear us roar, and you're going to run.
Kind of makes me want to go to Cleveland.
Dude, I want to go to Cleveland, bro.
I don't want to go on Monday, though, which would be today. I'm a little nervous, John, for Monday's game. What do you think? Well, I guess it's in Golden State, isn't it?
It's in Golden. What do I think? I think the Cats are in a lot of trouble.
Man.
Yeah.
Dude. You know what I don't understand? I want to talk about sports for a second. What I don't understand is how you lose by 30 2 games in a row, win by 30, and then I don't know what they're doing. I'm perplexed.
Put it this way, championship.
And I want to love the Cavs, John, so bad.
You can want all you want, but you're going through a certain form of battered wife syndrome. Trust me, I know it from being a Cubs fan. Okay.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
true.
I will tell you that, like, great teams, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in big games. It's like a boxing match. It's like a fight. It's like, does George St. Pierre just go get housed? No. If he's going to lose, it's going to be like by a toenail, right? Like they're not a great team, and it's not because of talent. And that's what I've been saying the whole year with those guys. Is it's not because of talent. It's because their general manager, their coach, just happens to be also their superstar. You cannot have that happen. And you spoke, I think you brought up on the last podcast about what E.T. said about that, and I agree 100%. You cannot have your best player running those three positions.
Yeah, he goes, I know we're in Cleveland, and you're all probably going to hate what I'm about to say, but I'm going to tell you the truth.
Right.
He's like, I mean, and he was right. I mean, like you said, there's no doubt. Like Phil Jackson wouldn't have took this.
Are you kidding me? Like, he's the coach. It's very simple.
Yeah.
I'm the coach. You're the player. Where's the confusion?
That's funny. I was watching. I have 12 channels on the TV where I'm at, and A Football Life is on about Tom Landry.
Football is a great show. Great show.
It is a really good show. And they said that Tom Landry, and actually a lot of the players didn't even act like they liked Tom Landry because his separation was so great. They said, of course, they won a bunch of championships and stuff, but he said that, like, you knew you were the player and I was the coach. There was no, like, question. And that's why that guy was, like, so legendary. Like, his like, ultimate stare and his fedora, like, you didn't, like, question what he told you to do.
Yeah.
And I think Phil Jackson is actually kind of similar, right?
He was similar, but he did it in the exact opposite way. Like, he did it in he was a Buddhist, and he did it in, like, the way of love. Like, he took the road where, like, if he was going to give you a stare, it was more like, wow, you just hurt my feelings and disappointed me. And then
meditate.
And then Jordan would be like, oh man, I feel like, okay, I got to go back out there and run the game.
Well, so 2 channels. I'm getting some great sports stuff while I'm here. I go Tom Landry. 2 channels later, it's Jordan when he's sick versus Utah, and he scores like 40. It's like the last. He had 35 when I watched. At that point, like Alex had never seen that, because I was like, dude, check this out. Jordan had the flu. He's like, blah 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 blah.
Dude, but he literally had the flu. Like,
Pippen was like holding him up, like walking to break.
It was real. I think his temperature was 103. Dude, 103, bro. You're in bed and someone's bringing you soup and you're rejecting it. Okay, that's what 103 is.
And he was just balling against Hornacek and Stockton and all those guys.
Dude, do you remember the shrug? Do you remember the shrug?
Yeah.
Everyone remembers.
That was against the Blazers, though, wasn't it?
Yes,
Whenever he was like on fire.
He couldn't miss. It was unbelievable. He just was throwing shots up from everywhere, and then I think he had like 35. And don't quote me on this. I think he had like 35 at the beginning of the second quarter, and he just was like, guys, I don't know what's going on.
Well, part of the problem is that's happening about every other game with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson at this point. That's why I think the Cavs are in trouble.
Yeah, they are. You know what? A lot of people, they want to make comparisons or whatever, and we'll see how they close out the series. But they are a very, very, very deep team where, the Bulls, who I think a lot of people look at as the greatest team of all time, possibly. I know I do. It's like they were a one-man dominant. Like, if Jordan had an off game, it was very, very tough to win. If Steph Curry has an off game, Klay probably has 40. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or Draymond.
Their role players are so strong,
They're
dude.
So good, dude.
And I don't know if that's Steve Kerr orchestrated or whatever, but it just seems like the fall off between our role players. I mean, look, one of our best role players doesn't even barely play for them, which is Andy Varejao. Yeah. He was like one of the best role players for Cleveland. He barely even plays for the Golden State. I mean, it's like that right there goes to show that. I mean,
I think
Stephen Clay didn't even show up for a couple games.
I think it shows you effort, right? Because you got these Golden State guys like Zealy who would play in front of Varejao, who does not. I'm sorry, Varejao does not have that Golden State, I'm going to get on the court effort. And Steve Kerr is going to pull you if you're not giving it 120% every second. And I think the culture of the Cavaliers was not to give it 120% every second. So that's probably why
I don't know what it is. I feel like it's let's watch LeBron or Kyrie beat the ball into the floor. And either Kyrie's going to throw up some junk, hopefully goes in, or LeBron's going to bully somebody and try to get a foul. They can complain if he doesn't get fouled. I mean, I feel like that's what our offense is right now.
Dude, seriously, it's so inconsistent, and I really feel like I don't know the internal politics probably as good as you do, but the inside-outside skill of Kevin Love, has he put up some good numbers? Of course he has. But sure. I believe Kyrie and I believe LeBron didn't embrace him maybe up until super recently. I don't even know if they have embraced him. And that's the kind of guy that makes you win championships. When you have a guy that's, what is he, 6'10", 6'11"?
6'10".
Yeah. And he could shoot the 3 ball. He can get you 20 boards. I mean, he could drop 30 any night. Like, that's the kind of guy you need to embrace, dude.
Yeah.
And I feel
he's like their Draymond, but different, but they can't really, like, get it together with him. I agree. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure why they can't.
To me, that's LeBron James's immaturity. It's always seemed like he has not gotten along with Kevin Love, but a leader understands that, well, let's win, and then we'll worry about getting along. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
no kidding. So I'm going to lighten it up for a little bit, John, tell you a little story. So I'm out on this Great Burr Oak Lake today.
Yeah.
Putting around. If you go to my Snapchat, you can see it. I'm putting around on what is a really rough rental pontoon boat. I'm talking it's rough, right? So I'm all the way at one side of the lake. It's probably, I don't know, 5 miles in, and the thing just dies.
Epic.
Right? So I'm trying to, dude, I know jack about motors. Let's put it that way, right? So I'm thinking, I'm trying to give it a choke. I'm pulling the thing, dead. So here I am. I'm like, luckily one of us brought our cell phone, which normally, like, in these, you can't even get service anyway. And for the first time ever, I had to get towed back across the lake as my boat is dead. So that was pretty interesting.
Like, Dad, nice, epic fail.
Yeah, so that, and I had this big fishing thing planned on the pontoon boat. We get on the boat. We're using like hot dog and worms and cicadas, which are flying everywhere right now, and some other things.
Are cicadas flying everywhere right now?
Yeah. Are you aware of the cicada problem, John?
No.
Okay, so don't quote me because I'm sure I'm really off. But there's this bug that lives in the ground.
Oh no, I know what they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the 17-year version has arose.
Those things are nasty, bro.
Dude, like, I guess last week they said that every fisherman around here is using them live and just catching bass after bass after bass because of the way that, right? But dude, at my house and here, anywhere in Ohio, different parts of Ohio, it's so loud. It feels like you're in like an Alfred Hitchcock movie when you go outside. I mean,
like, it's like a buzz. I remember that when I was a kid.
And it seems like 4 notches than I remember because, dude, I don't know, these ones been underground for 20 years, right? So they're pissed off. So it's like, dude, it is like, because I got some construction work going on at my house, and it's like, dude, the guys outside are like, dude, we can't, they want to go somewhere. I mean, it's just, it's so bad. But anyway,
is it like
constant and never, it doesn't go, and it doesn't stop till nighttime. So
really?
Every time you walk,
so when they take a nap, you're cool.
Yeah, or if I'm lunging, they'll be flying into me. I mean, they're everywhere.
Lunge and learn the cicada version.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, we literally we putt off the dock, and Andon, my youngest, throws one line in the water. Boom! As soon as he hits it, bluegill, right? So everybody's stoked. Like, first line in the water, fish. 3 hours of fishing, not one more fish got caught. And then the boat died.
Oh, man.
But what I will tell you, though, is just like the part of everybody looking, trying to see, trying to move different spots. It's still about the experience. It's about the family time. It's about whatever. But it was, one fish and one motor down. That's what I did today.
Dude, I'll
so
tell
it was
you
still
this,
pretty fun.
Man. Call me like a 5-year-old or what, but to me, I'm not a big fisherman. The most exciting part of fishing is using a bobber, dude. There's nothing cooler than watching a bobber just go boom.
Absolutely.
Dude, okay, so 20-second story, I think it's probably because of this. When I was like 8 years old, I swear to God, I had a fishing pole, I had a bobber, and boom. It looked like it went down at 100 miles an hour. Mind you, I was 8.
Yeah.
And so boom, I set the hook, I'm reeling, I'm like, Dad, get over here. I can't hold this. My pole went ripped in half, bro. Just ripped in half. And I was using like an adult pole, and to this day, I'm like, dude, what did I hook?
Probably some big old catfish on there.
Dude, this thing was vicious, bro. Yeah. But
But
bobbers are awesome.
what you said though was cool is, Dad, come give me a hand.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's like the best thing to do with your kids, right? It's
yeah,
like,
for sure.
I mean, I was teaching my kids how to like, string the pole up, put the bobber on, put the lure on, put everything like on yesterday. Like we were hanging out, like it's just some really good family stuff, whether you
Bonding
catch
time,
fish or not.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I could catch bluegill all day long. Like you said, as soon as that bobber hits, it's like, it's so much fun. And that's part of the rural Ohio in me. Like I just, but it's fun for no matter where you live. You should take your kids out on the water. You should take them fishing, even if it's a bamboo pole and you got a hot dog on the end of it and you're just, trying to catch these little things. It's fun.
You're making a great point, because some of my best memories as a child are of fishing, like going out, getting out of the house and fishing with my dad. And yeah, it's a good point.
Well, a lot of my content for Activ8 Media has been experiences, kind of like just changing it up. And I think what I've been trying to do a better job of, and what I'm trying to, urge our listeners to do a better job of too, is that a lot of the things that I'm talking about really don't have like a high monetary value with them, or don't cost really that much. Like I built that wiffle ball field in my yard the other day, and the construction fence cost $29.99.
Cory,
you know what I mean? Like it's just like the thought, right?
The best things in life are
free or close to free at least, right? So I mean, if you could see the kids' faces after like I dug a few post holes and put some construction fence up and like painted my yard with like some leftover paint, like it's just so basic. Or just like I talked about changing it up on yesterday's Activ8 Daily about like, what if you do have a chance to like get outside and work for a day, or go to a different place, or go just do something different. Like try to keep it breeds creativity, and the mundane things every day can just wear on you. Like it's good just to try to do some different things, man.
I agree, and I think what it also does is it gives you a new appreciation and a respect for people who may do those things as a profession, as a job. And yeah, you're right. You never lose when you go outside your comfort zone to experience new things.
Well, yeah, because for instance, I got here. I heard they had a fitness center. It wasn't, up to what I need or whatever. And so I challenged myself. I was like, walked out of the house the other morning and I was like, all right, G, well, let's walk around and figure out what you can figure out for your workout. And before I know it, I'm like Spider-Man style, hanging on the side of a chain link fence, doing like pull-ups and like squatting over by the putting green on the putt course. Like, it just makes it more fun. So anyway,
sure.
I challenge you guys to change it up a little bit. John, what's going on in Chi-Town right now with the Cubby? You got the Cubs are winning games.
Cubs are killing people.
I know. Is it?
It's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and like the other team is like the little girl like running in the house, like where is he at? Dude, like killing people.
What's the feeling in Wrigleyville? Is people just so excited? It's like they're beside themselves.
It's what's really cool is. Are you familiar with Joe Madden, our coach?
I know, yeah. I actually like Joe Madden. I've seen a few interviews with him. Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, and I'm not a baseball fan. I've made that loud and clear. But like, he's like the coolest dude I've ever heard talk in sports. Like he's so cool. Like when I hear one of his interviews, I'm like, I want to go hang out with that guy. Like
he's super cool. Like
literally, I was listening to an ESPN interview with him the other day, and they're like, Joe, what's going on? He's like, oh man, I've just been trying to catch up on my Seinfeld episodes. And they're like, well, what else is going on? He's like, man, and this actually, let me correct myself. This was an interview that I heard before the baseball season. He's like, man, when the baseball season is out, he's like, well, I'm watching my Seinfeld episodes. He's like, I'm trying to catch up. He's like, I got to read more. I'm trying to catch up on my reading. And he's like, I think I'm just going to sample some of these video games so I understand the kids a little bit better. But he's like, what's going on with you? Like
he went back onto the reporter and asked him.
Yeah. He's like the definition of the most regular dude. But when it's game time and it comes down to breaking down baseball, like his whole thing is like, guys, like before a game, he's like, what are you going to go do? Play baseball. How long have you been doing it? 24 years, right? Even since T-ball, yeah. Okay, so like, God, let's have some fun. Like, you know how to play baseball, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's just go out there and have fun. I'm not going to judge you. I believe in you guys. You guys are awesome. Like, you
You think that's why
belong
they're
here.
winning so many games?
Absolutely.
They're
Like,
just having fun.
if you ask the players, they're like, it is so relaxed. And I heard there's like this myth that there was an underground clubhouse built this year for after games where the players can go. They can invite friends. They can just have beers. They can hang out. I think this was Joe Madden's idea. This is kind of like a Chicago urban legend type thing. And it's just like,
Okay.
it's like, man, you belong here. So let's stop like all the stress and let's just go do what we're made to do.
And you're also blessed. You're playing a kid's game for a living for millions of dollars.
Right. And you're good at it. Like, that's his whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you're good at it. You know it. So if you go 0 for 20, Bryce Harper has those 0 fers. It's like,
Yes.
guys, let's go play some baseball. And everyone's relaxed, you know, and that's the vibe.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about multiple podcasts ago is whenever, like in fitness, if I'm like, things feel kind of hard and I'm just struggling or I'm just like in between events and I'm like, what do I go back to? The same one chest and back workout that I first read from Arnold's book that always gives me a good pump, that reminds me of the reason why I started lifting weights, that basically you have to do those things because it's that pressure that, they say pressure creates diamonds, but it also cracks people. It just depends on how you respond to it.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean?
I believe there's self-applied pressure, and then there's like real pressure. So if me and you are like, oh my God, I'm going into this meeting, like that's garbage, man. Like the real pressure is the meeting. Let's face it, the meeting could make us $1 million or make us nothing. That is pressure. That makes diamonds because we're going to go perform. That's pressure, but it's your choice to feel it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I know how I feel in those moments, and we've actually experienced a few of those moments together recently. Like, can you teach that, John?
I think the only way you can teach it is if somebody knows, they say in jiu-jitsu, if somebody puts their arm here, you know where your hand is. The muscle memory is so high. I believe it can be taught if you know your data and your subject so well that your muscle memory just reacts. You don't need to think about things. And that's why I've never walked into a meeting, because obviously every meeting that I walk into, I'm talking about my subject, my business, and I have muscle memory with it. So if someone says this, boom, I have an answer. So yeah, at that point, if you know your subject, I think it can be taught. But what can't be taught, I believe, is the feeling of nerves. It's like, why do people miss 2 free throws when, for a professional NBA player, 2 free throws are the easiest thing, or a free throw is the easiest thing in the world when the game's on the line? Those are the guys who just, I don't know if you can teach it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you believe, and I believe wholeheartedly too, that those moments of excellence come because of preparation and just time involved in the subject, that you know it so well. As long as you don't allow those external nerves to come in out of nowhere, there should be no problem.
Right. But there are greats that do let those external nerves come in. It's like Reggie Miller, Michael Jordan, and then you got, remember, like Nick Anderson, who was a great for the Magic. His career got ruined because he missed 4 free throws in a row in an NBA fight. Like, he could never hit a free throw again. He never wanted to go to the free throw line, and it literally ruined his career. And there's many other small guys that basically, of course, they're prepared for it, just like we would be going into a meeting, but they have that, they feel the moment, as opposed to walking in like, I own this shit.
Yeah, and that's just, I think it's more of a mentality. Like, And that's so, because I always try to I'm trying to teach that to my kids. I think it's important, right?
Oh,
like
yeah, it
that,
is.
and because I
You belong here.
Yes, and I talk about that all the time. Like, you expect to win, and you might not always win, but like that's why I always try to tell Alex or any of them, like, we show up. Like, I want them to think like, oh, I'm in this moment. Oh yeah, at our family we show up. That's
Exactly. Exactly.
But that's
if we lose,
that's like the
our teeth are on the field. My
that's a
teeth
winner's
are on the field.
So that's the Patriots. That's the winner's mentality, right?
Right.
That's like
You're
the
gonna
culture.
lose.
The culture.
You're going to lose in life, but a winner loses, and he says, "Yeah, my teeth are on the field," or Ronnie Lostau, "Yeah, I lost my pinky."
Yeah.
But guess what? There's a game next week.
Yes.
That loss, forget that loss. I'm going to go win. I'm going to go win. So do winners lose? Yes, we all lose. Losing is failure. We all fail. We've talked about it. But the mentality is, if you're going to beat me, you're going to be better than me, right? And that's okay, because there's always somebody better than you.
There's
out
always
there.
somebody better.
Always.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna leave my body parts on the field.
I love it. I love it. It comes down to whatever the situation is. Like, if you're prepared, and you just go in confident, you should expect to win. You're going to get some curveballs from time to time, but all that preparation is what should allow you to kind of dip, dodge, and move and get through it. And you've got some major curveballs in business meetings. I've got some major curveballs in business meetings. You almost got to expect it.
Oh,
but if you handle them like a G, I think the opposite person you're dealing with just kind of nods and goes, okay, like they're ready to be here.
And another thing, you're totally right. And another thing that you do in meetings is, man, like I like to reverse dynamics on people. So just because you're trying to, let's say we're trying to sell something, doesn't mean that we can't put them on the defensive, right?
Yes.
Like, and that throws them for a loop, because it makes you dominant when they're used to being dominant. Whoever writes the check in the deal is the dominant, right? Well,
no question.
It doesn't have to be that way if you maneuver correctly. And that, to me, is why I believe business is the greatest sport in the world.
And what's the score, John? How do you keep score? You always tell me.
Oh, yeah. All money is, okay, because money can be a great thing for freedom. It could be a really horrible thing if you define yourself. But your bank account is your scorecard. Your net revenue is your scorecard. That's all it is. Money is nothing more than a scorecard. That's it. If I got more than you, I'm winning. Okay? But I don't want to beat you. Let's. There's enough out there to win together, right? Like, it ain't about beating the other guy unless the other guy's trying to take what's yours. Now, if he's trying to take what's yours, it's game on, boy.
Well, that's what I used to say. Like, in the supplement industry, a lot of people will be like, well, you asked about this person something, that person something. I'm like, look, I just know what I do. There's plenty to go around. If somebody likes that person, the way they do things better than mine, that's whatever. But I'm not going to go and attack to try to go get. That's when it becomes territorial. And like you said, then it's like, okay, you're coming over here. Now we got a problem. But like, in theory, there's plenty of any business to go around.
Right. If you're going to come over here and take a shot at me, we've said on this show before, okay, you want to take the first shot? We'll take the last.
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of it. So, well, John, I think, we
Cory,
start.
Did we talk? I don't mean to cut you off, but did we hit last show, and maybe my memory's horrible, did we touch on Muhammad Ali?
You know what? Actually, it's funny that you say that because it entered my brain. If we did, we should talk about it again anyway.
Yeah,
let's close the show with Muhammad Ali stuff in general. Go ahead.
More than Michael Jordan, I believe Muhammad Ali is the most influential athlete ever. I think Muhammad Ali made it okay, at least for a whole race of people who have had a very tough time in this country. He made it okay, and he made it acceptable, and he made it embraceable to be African American. He took pride in it. He was unapologetic in it. He enhanced not only his body, right, because he was the greatest of all time as a boxer, but he enhanced his mind. He was a very, very, very smart guy. And we look at people like Conor McGregor today and all. Everybody who promotes a fight today, all they're doing is watching Muhammad Ali clips and stealing from him. That man invented the entertainment side of the fight game, and then he backed it up with. I really, I don't want to sound like, obviously I'm a huge combat sports fan, but like, he was a beautiful boxer. The way he boxed was beautiful. And,
dude, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. I watched 4 rounds of Sonny Liston Muhammad Ali this morning on the platform.
Sonny Liston was so nasty, bro.
He looked so slow though compared to Muhammad in that fight. It was like, because Rachel walked in and was like, I don't think this guy can hit Muhammad Ali. I mean, Muhammad Ali was so. I mean, it was like he was 22 years old at the time, but it was like it was a beautiful dude. Just the motion and he was talking while Sonny was missing. It was just like,
it's like, no, you didn't.
Yes, so
and you gotta
wrong,
remember,
dude.
in that era, Sonny Liston, guys, like he was like back then. Okay, boxing was less sweet science and more. Watch Rocky Marciano fight. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this. If you want to watch the hardest hitting fighter of all time, who Muhammad Ali beat, and he lost 2 months, George Foreman was an absolute killer in his time. Yeah. Go back and watch George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, either one, when he beat Muhammad or Muhammad beat him. George Foreman, literally, he could hit a heavy bag, and the heavy bag would hit the ceiling. That's how hard that man would hit. And Muhammad Ali, when he beat George Foreman, it was like a ballet or a symphony of destruction. It was beautiful but vicious at the same time, and it's just like he was such a gift. He was a gift. Yeah. To all of us, and I don't think there's one person that he didn't personally affect in some way.
No, I agree. I think that the reason why I even wanted to hit a speed bag or heavy bag is because of watching old Muhammad Ali stuff. I think that a lot of people, especially like our age, I think because, my parents and that, like, remember, like, I mean, he was standing right by MLK, Martin Luther King. I mean, he was right in all of that craziness, trying to better, people
civil rights
and civil rights, and he caught so much heat. And right or wrong, everybody can debate on the Vietnam thing. I'm not here to debate that, but it's one of the things that it's just the fact, the experience, and he just didn't stand down. So I mean, there's something to be said for that. And then it seems like America kind of opened him back up with open arms as he got older, as he lit the thing in '96 for the Olympics, and as he fought through Parkinson's. And I mean, he just was a pretty amazing guy. And talk about leaving a legacy, man. He had the ultimate legacy.
I heard an interesting comment. I forgot who said it, and they said that Muhammad Ali made it okay for a black man to be braggadocious, and they said without Muhammad Ali, they don't know if rap music would be what rap music is today, because he made it okay for a black man to take pride in what he did, and to let the world know, I take pride in what I do, and
so that, pretty.
What? I'm so pretty.
I'm so pretty. Dude, I can't get enough of it. Like,
it's classic. It's so good.
I think I mentioned this last time. I went through YouTube and was watching like Muhammad Ali rants, and like, so I think it was after he beat Sonny Liston, he's yelling at the guy, "I'm so pretty. I'm so," and the other guy goes, "You're not that pretty." He goes, "I'm a bad man."
Yeah, I'm a bad man. Yeah.
I mean, just like, and he believed it so much, dude. It was unbelievable. And so I think that I've always been drawn to Muhammad Ali, Deion Sanders, those type of guys that just had that ultimate confidence to where, like, you believed it because they believed it.
Yeah, I agree. And rest in peace, Muhammad Ali. He was a gift. He was a gift to our country. He's a gift to the world, I think.
Yeah. I think I'm going to buy, I heard, and I haven't looked it up yet, that there's a box set that exists that has every Muhammad Ali fight on tape.
Oh, I'm buying it. Send me the link, bro.
Somebody mentioned it on TV, and if it does exist, I will purchase it for myself, and I think that would be unbelievable to watch with my kids when they're of age, for sure.
Dude.
I mean, right?
Dude, the Rumble in the Jungle, they say, not to go on, but when he fought for him in Zaire, they said that is the most anticipated sporting event ever. And he went into the ring. As he's going in the ring, he's hitting the bongo drums with the dudes in Zaire. Like, he's iconic. He's just iconic. Man. We can go on forever about him.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, all right, John, wrap us up, buddy.
Hey, man. I know there was some tough things to swallow, some tough things to think about, some tough things to talk about. But sometimes, guys, when there's real situations out there, we have to talk about tough things, and we have to think about doing things differently, because doing things the same clearly isn't working. And if you're one of those people who thinks, well, I'm one person, what can I do? If Muhammad Ali thought that way, what would the world be, right?
Yeah.
So I think we all have power, and I think we have power together, and I think we can use that power, as we referenced earlier in the show, to embrace more people, show more people love, man, whether you know them or not. So, I'm going to go out with, go out of your way. This isn't, your project this week or anything. This is like, let's try to just step up our games, right? Because we're all trying to evolve constantly as humans. Let's step up our game on treating people with dignity and respect and love and care. And I really do think that is the eventual answer to stop this insane violence in our country. And on that note, we just hope you have a hell of a Monday.
Yep, absolutely.
Activ8.
This is what did it say? John, you got to say it. You are listening.
Yeah. I think this was. I got a little sad for a minute, guys. I forgot my cue. I got to tell you guys that you're listening to Activ8 Radio. We are Activ8 Media, and we will see you on Friday.